Gawa Sasok Waschogi. My name is Coyote Boy. Hok Gawa Maqlaqs Gee'tkni. That's my Indian name. Dada Nua Tataksni. Chagiak. An elder Gepka Nala and Lechas, our house. An elder came to our house. Huki Sabia Misasak. I told her, she said Misasak, that means your name. Wash Charagi is the way she told me. And she said that means Coyote Boy and Modoc, you know. And so, because I told her my grandma called me Coyote Boy. So that became my Indian name when I was little, and it still is. Wash Charagi. Nua Duakini Elksikni Choi Muakni Maqlaqs. I'm Klamath-Modoc. Chiloquin dot. Dot. And that's the place they call Chiloquin now, and it was dot before.
Okay, can you tell us a bit about yourself and your ties to this area of Springfield, Eugene?
Yeah, I first came to college up here at Lane Community College, and it was the beginning of my education to transfer to the University of Oregon. And I graduated from the University of Oregon. I have a Northwest Indian Language Institute certificate to graduate from UVO. And I lived in Springfield and raised my children there. And just the rivers here, and knowing the history of Kalapuya and Malala, and a lot of tribes. Chukani is what we call road rivers, and we're all relatives. We gathered together and we traded. So just knowing about the rivers in our humble is our spirituality. And I never knew all this. It's been a learning experience. But to know that salmon came here. Salmon came up these rivers and people gathered here. And in the spring to know that the camas was a staple food. So, learning the language of these creations. Oaksum is the camas, and chios is big salmon. So it just made me feel good, it made me strong every day. It gave me a good feeling here, and to carry on and to know what I was doing here for my education. And I really appreciated the area, and I still do. And I learned that our people came here as well, along with the route that we made here.
Okay, well that kind of leads into my next question. I heard that you do a lot of language revitalization work, and I was wondering if you could tell us what that has consisted of so far.
Yeah, I started, hearing the language as a kid in the town of Chiloquin. And there was only a few speakers left, and they would be talking on the corner, and saying some Indian words, so we was able to hear how the sounds went. And then, Gordon Bettles, Gordon was the steward of the Longhouse. He had done lots of work in, bringing the dictionaries to the tribe and getting the revitalization going. So it was at that time that I was a kid, I started looking into the phrase book and looking at the books they had. And so, you know, as part of, you know, growing and you know, striving for sobriety in communities, in Native communities, it was about our prayers, you know, about learning the things that we want to say to Maqlaqs, to Creator. And so I was, you know, I was fortunate to attend some ceremonies where they said, learn your language to pray. So those are some of the real important things that I wanted to do. And then, you know, looking at the animals and the birds and knowing that those birds and creations gave us strength, you know, and they gave us medicine and power. I wanted to know all of those, their names. And so it was just a hunger to dive into the materials and to study. And I became a language instructor. And I started hosting some adult classes or family classes. And because I already taught kids in the culture camp and in the Klamath County School District, we would go and teach on certain days to the children. So then I had a family night. So today, you know, after graduating school and going back home, you know, forming a nonprofit, Maqlaqs Gee'tkni, and that means the place that we're from, the land we're from. You know, looking at the traditional foods and the plants, that's pretty much where I'm you know, teaching whoever wants to know, you know, about the uses of our foods and the names and the words for the plants, and then words about how we can push is foods, push, pa is eat, pacha is also eat, halgi is come eat. So you know, certain ways that we do things, we put our language back into it. And with forestry restoration, we have a crew, Maqlaqs Gee'tkni, we used to go through the forest and clear the brush. So through our language, we learn lots of ways that we manage the forest and the way that we gather food. So,
What are some of the difficulties the Klamath-Modoc Paiute people face when learning their languages? Is this something you have also struggled with?
you know, we went through a great, you know, it's a really hard time with termination. And so, you know, being such a strong people, such a proud and strong nation at one time, to lose our language down to just a few speakers, it was a really hard thing. And yeah, so that's made it difficult by not having, you know, that's what happened, and we don't have it in the home as the first language anymore. And it's come down to books, grammar books that, you know, are written from University of California, and there's a certain way to learn the grammar. And so I think just having, you know, the structure and the teaching for the grammar is what's going to take. Learning, so yoga is learning. Moi so yoga, sewani nas, mo Maqlaqs. So learning a lot gives you a lot of knowledge. So I said mo Maqlaqs. So especially in the way knots, chia, the way we lived. And so our language has all that knowledge.
What were some of the sources you consulted as you were learning Klamath or Modoc?
Well, luckily that we had the dictionary. So my grandma had a dictionary. Gordon, distributed the dictionaries to all the families. And so I'd go upstairs and grab my grandma's dictionary, and we'd be looking through there, me and my cousins, and we was trying to find all those words. And we didn't really know how to say them though. And but yeah, that's how we started becoming really interested. And then we had a few speakers left, when I was growing up, and Eve Eggsman and Chief Reed David and Bobby David. I had the honor of working with some of our elders that were real passionate keeping it going. So fortunately I looked through some of the old texts and I found some tapes that went with them, and I found all of the fluent stories, and I could hear the speakers from the 1950s, and that really gave me really know how to pronunciate and how the tone went and the language and how the speed and how fluent, how it sounded. So.
Do you study and practice Klamath with other people in your community?
I used to. Right now, it's the program is kind of needs to get up and running still for Klamath within the tribes. But on a daily basis, I speak at the grocery store to a lot of non-tribal people. And then I see a lot of the tribal people when I go in the tribal office. I'm talking Maqlaqs to them and saying lots of phrases. And so some of them start saying them, And then amongst the people in the community, they say them. They say E, Sokecha, Modich, and so amongst the tribal members we say them, all these words, Umbo, and so I notice some of the ceremonies, some of the young men that are picking up the ceremonies, they're starting to make songs with the language. So it's always inspiring. So.
Can you share some of the ways that studying the language has impacted your family?
Yeah, it's really helped our family, and it's helped us learn how to pray, how to talk to Creator, and how our way of life was. We learned a word, and it's a Sahaptan word, phrase, Ikushi-wa. It means it's the way it is. And the way that we talk to the plants, and the way that we talk to the rocks, and the way that we talk to Kamokums, to Creator, that's the way it is, the ways that we believe in the land, and so it gave us an understanding.
In a perfect world, how would you implement Indigenous language learning?
On the ground, immersion in the woods, gathering the food, kiama, fishing, kankanka, hunting, the things we do, incorporating it into our daily life, and when we wake up, skisbugi, waka, we get up out of bed, bonashambo, sawani, also kircha, give thanks, and give thanks to those ways that we have. Maqlaqs Gee'tkni, but that is the way that we do things. But you try to come back and start, grassroots organizations. It's slow, it's slow because a lot of people, you know, they don't understand yet. They're gotta put, you know, educate. How can we build capacity? You know, and then people are trying to. So it's just slow going in a rural area until you get people that. See, there's $100 million sitting in the Oregon Watershed Enhancement Board for our tribe. It's like we could do it. Us, anyone, you know. I mean, anyone could do it. You know. It just takes organization. But then we ran into, it's the horriblest thing. You get people in that get in office, they want to shut down the community garden because they didn't build, or they want to go against anything that's healthy. They're called lateral oppression. So it's a real thing unless you get into a real leader into the spot that understands, okay, we gotta. So that's why I'm so serious, because we still have so much work to do on everything. And even to decolonize and have a healthy house and healthy food and healthy watershed for the next generation, we have to start we have to start teaching now the new education. You know, it's a different education than what's being taught. So, yeah, we need a school, we need a university. We need to get these jobs. You know, they could pull reed canary grass for $25 an hour going up and down our rivers that are loaded with it. But I run into opposition. Me, I guess, I don't know, because man, it's horrible. Like it's jealousy. It's like, but it's actually coming from the older generation. Yeah. See, Natalie Ball talks about it in her posts sometimes, you know. But I've seen it. There's people that, you know, that glare at you. You know, if you know about the watershed, like you say, hey, here's this. They'll just like, oh, we don't even want to really do the watershed, but we're kind of acting like we're about it.
Yeah, just people slow to be educated or want change. They're stuck in the colonial ways of power, I guess.
And then Tom Ball did that, you know, dissertation on post-colonial anxiety of the Indian tribe, and it was about our tribe, you know, because after termination and after everything, you know, so that's where we're at, and we've got to break a cycle. Yeah, you know, it's apparent because I don't know, we kind of grew up. I grew up after termination, so it was rough, you know, in Chiloquin. But I mean, it wasn't rough on me because I had grandparents that raised us and stuff, but it's like certain things were pretty rough. Some of my friends' parents passed it on and stuff. And yeah, it was, but I don't know, we're Modocs, huh? It's like a whole nother story that Modoc, like where our land down there and the history. Klamath County Museum did all these different talks last year because it was 150 years since the Modoc War. But kind of got down to a lot of things that we didn't know. And it helped people understand, you know, that really we lived there and we lived in a way that was really good with the lakes there, you know.
Do you see a connection between language revitalization and other issues tribal communities are working on, like land stewardship, historic preservation, and cultural wellness?
Oh, yes. A lot of our places have names, and there's different uses and areas where they have names for everything. So it's like we can associate all with our land. All those places. So, yeah.
Thank you. Okay, so transitioning more into your environmental stewardship, can you explain what environmental stewardship means to you and some of the ways you are pursuing it in your community?
Yeah, environmental stewardship, you know, means taking responsibility for our ecosystem, our watershed, all of life, you know, every organism in our ecosystem, in our watershed. So making sure that it's healthy and non-toxic, and it's better for future generations. So, yeah.
Can you tell us about your participation with prescribed burns? Where did the burns take place, and how did you become involved with that work?
Yeah, I became involved with traditional ecological burning through the Long-Tom Watershed Council here in Eugene. And a very nice colleague of mine, she put together some grants to put on indigenous fire trainings. So there was a burn at Mount Pisgah to restore the camas and for the oak savanna there. So that was a very good burn. We brought a lot of agencies together, and just to learn that the way Native people here managed the lands for thousands of years. It's really good for everyone to recognize this and for these ways to be acknowledged, and so it's really rich.
Is there a relationship between stewarding fire and stewarding water?
Maqlaqs is fire, and it's a sacred element to our people, and it's used for everything. So, like I said, our Maqlaqs ways, everything is alive. Everything has a spirit, and so the fire is really sacred to us. And the same as water. The spring places is where our people went for power and for healing. So these elements of earth, we know that they're sacred and they give everything life.
Thank you. Would you like to discuss the dam removal work on the Klamath River?
That's a big topic. I mean, I'm glad, it's good they're coming out. It's good. I would have done things a little bit differently because they didn't really consult with the tribes on how they was coming out. Then, they did it when there wasn't some high flows, and I would have waited, till the high flows in the spring to remove a few of them, and then, but it's taken a lot of work, and they've done actually a good job. So, but that was the only thing I was thinking, man, that first one that came out, they didn't have no flows to get it going.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's about, but I'm glad, and I'm looking forward to salmon, Chiles, and I'm already thinking about where I'm going to go put a scaffold. Down somewhere by past Klamath Falls. So I'm going to go where Captain Jack, and we're Hot Creek Modocs now, and I didn't even know about all this stuff, I grew up in Klamath Falls and I didn't really know about everything, but now I can go, like, right when I get into Klamath, I see, like, it's beautiful, the lake there, it's really pretty. And when you come down at nighttime, even the city lights shining off the lake, they're pretty. And then I seen something on Facebook today that said the most depressing towns in Oregon, and it said Klamath Falls, and it had Grants Pass, and it had a bunch of these towns. And then I was gonna laugh, but but when I see the place now, I see Modoc land. Like I'm up on the north ridge of Klamath Falls, and look, and I see Mount Shasta. It's just like, it's the awesomest place. You know what I mean? It's the most beautiful place, and to know but I want to see it restored. That's the thing, because you see lake, they call it Lake Iwana right down. So yeah, Chiloquin is where we fished, and that's where the falls were. There's no falls, for Klamath Falls, but then it goes down here, the railroad's right through there. It's just it's like a super fun, But anyhow, there's a lot of bad things, and then there's industry, and then you can still see the place where we're created, So it's like, well, I love it,
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
How would you describe your relationship to Springfield and East Rural Lane County? Is there any work you hope to see happen in this area in the future?
Yeah, I lived in Springfield for 6 years while I was going to college, and I love the entire ecosystem there in the Kinsey River. I'd go up and get elderberries up in the Kinsey. So, I've done some work up on the river there to remove invasive plants along the river. And so, I really would just like the education, of the way the indigenous people lived here along the McKenzie River too, and the Willamette River. And, that just helps everyone. Like I learned a story over in Sisters, how they restored the creek there where they used to dry it up. And now it's called Whiteshoe Creek. And now modernization happened with agriculture there, and it's helped the entire community. And with the name change to Whiteshoe, and crossing over the water, that really helped people with the vision of the place and to embrace it. So, I hope all that can come back up into all these areas.
Awesome. What are some of the possible benefits of learning about and remembering indigenous knowledge and indigenous land stewardship practices? You sort of answered that a little bit, but if you want to reiterate.
It helps you with your health. It helps you with your understanding of the way our ecosystem was, and what's beneficial to our environment. And so it really makes you appreciate life in general.
Did you have any mentors or role models growing up who helped shape you?
My grandmother raised me a lot, and my great-grandmother, and my great-great-grandmother. She was nearly 100 years old, and she camped on the river all summer long and stayed by herself a lot until someone would come camp with her. But she was medicine. She had medicine power, Indian power, let's say. So she was kind of like the grandma of like my grandma. So everyone looked to her, and then so all of my grandmas. They really shaped me. And then my grandfather also, he won the court case Kimbol versus Callahan that reaffirmed our hunting, fishing, and gathering rights. So, all of them elders, my grandparents, they helped shape me and show me what I'm supposed to care about.
Thinking of the up-and-coming generation in the Native community, what are some of the challenges that you think they will face? Do you have any advice for the younger generations?
Yes. I'd like the younger generation to learn about growing foods, to learn about their traditional foods, to learn, the way that their elders and their ancestors lived on these lands here. And I want them to learn, I really want the youth to learn about sustainable homes, about how our people lived, how our people lived in homes for thousands of years that we built together. So it's become a passion of mine to get off of fossil fuels, to stop climate change, to decolonize, to have healthy watersheds and healthy foods, and to live a sustainable life. So that's what I'd like the future generation to think about and to learn.
Ashaza. Haga Naneha. What's your name?
Kawasasak Waschagi. Waki Sasak. What's your name?
The Princess Bass Mason Menaneha. Haganite. Where are you from?
Maqlaqs Gee'tkni. more south from here. Eugene-Springfield, Maqlaqs Gee'tkni, Klamath-Modoc. Chiloquin is where you from?
Dokobadi does Klamath-Modoc. So I'm from Duck Valley in Nevada, Idaho Reservation in Klamath Falls. Knock on. Where are you living now?
Chiloquin. Or Dalachia is where do you live?
Nuba, Portland, does Eugene, knock on. So I live in Portland and sometimes Eugene. Nanamuna, Haganite, where's your family from?
Honkas, Sasamaks, Maqlaqs Gee'tkni, Maqlaqs from that place. Eugene-Springfield is the Klamath Marsh. Maqlaqs is the place, Modoc territory. Chiloquin means from Klamath Falls.
Nanamuna, Dokobadi, does Klamath Falls night. Gesumbanai, so they're from Duck Valley Reservation in Nevada, Idaho, in Klamath area, but Gesumbanai, so I'm not sure exactly where in Klamath we originated from. Dus Gagu, Beatty. So my maternal grandma, Isla Choctaw, I think, is from Beatty area too. Hagani, how are you?
Modich and Hosla. I'm good. I feel very good. Maqlaqs.
Zanushuba. I feel good. I have good feelings.
Modich.
Ashaza. Os. Thank you. And then os is kind of like, that's good or that's done.
Mosa Kecha. Thank you.